What's going on? Peace, family. So, video is what the next 5 to 10 years have in store. You know, what it is that it looks like. So, if you are anything like myself, you are a person of extreme detail when it comes to the things going on around you. I believe one of the biggest flaws that we have today as civilians is that we lack the capability of what we call awareness. And for myself, I'm very aware of things going on, and I'm also very aware that majority of people are not aware. You know, I think people live on a extreme of, if I just make it to the next day, it will catapult me, 5 levels ahead. And that's how the majority of people think. They just think that you ignore, the things that are going on around you. As long as you're doing what you're doing, that things are going to work out in the favor of, whatever, deity or religion or whatever that may be. And it'll catapult them 5 years ahead. Or not, I'm sorry, not 5 years, but 5 levels ahead. If they just ignore things, And what I've came to the understanding is that that's a level of what we call today as a NPC, right? A non-player character. Now, you're probably wondering why that's important to the topic that we're talking about now. It is very important because if you're not aware of the situations and the things that are going on around you, when we're talking about the economic system, when we're talking about the Oval Office, when we're talking about worldly views, and when we're talking about the ancient past, because these things are key figurative of how you're going to be able to understand the outlook of the next 5 to 10 years. You simply can't understand what a future looks like for, your given self or family if you don't understand A, what happened in the past, history, or B, you being aware of your situations and your surroundings. Because if you're an NPC, non-player character, all you're worried about is this thing in this little box. You're in this little box and you're confined, and that's all you think about. If that's all you think about, there's no way you can even worry about a future, right? And things are moving so rapidly right now is that a lot of people don't have time to catch up or have the ability to do research or to even take that time out to see what's going on around them, right? A lot of people don't know right now that they're being finessed. They're being finessed by the system, by the Oval Office, by the elites, the oligarchs, whatever you want to call them. They're being finessed. And it's happening more and more and more. Diversity, that does not exist. Go to my social platforms, man, and I share with you photos of situations where diversity doesn't exist. It's only about one culture, one tradition, one human being. And if you don't understand, go look at my social platforms, because I share that with you because I'm very aware of the situation going on around me. I just don't wake up on the day-to-day and go, yawn and, hit my snooze button and ask everybody, how they're doing every day, how's it going? Because I fucking know how it's going already, right? And I'm not saying that coming from a place of arrogance. I'm just saying that coming from a place of being aware, aka the elites and the oligarchs call it being woke, right? And I don't really tend to associate myself with the definition of the term, because you don't have to be woke if you're aware on a day-to-day basis. You don't have to be woke to know that your money is not going anywhere. You don't have to be woke in order to walk into a grocery store and realize you can't afford the same shit that you've been buying for the last decade. You don't have to be woke to know that you're not going to get a specific position or a job because the people don't fucking like you. You understand what I'm saying? So the next 5 to 10 years are going to be very, very hard, because you got to think about how tough it is right now, right? And then I'm probably going to get some questions of, well, how do you believe, or how do you know that the next 5 to 10 years will be hard? And the reason why I believe that is because there is nothing that can save a boat that's sinking. Okay? And this economic system is in turmoil. And it's so bad that Wall Street makes it seem as if it's good. They're talking about the S&P 500. It's going up. Okay? And so is gold. And so is Bitcoin. Just because the S&P goes up does not mean that your mortgage isn't $5,000 a month. Just because the S&P goes up does not mean that you're able to get a job more easily than the last month or the last 2 months. The S&P is just a digital platform that's created by the oligarchs to distract people from the shit that really goes on in the economic system. Because remember, if you control anything, you always have the ability to take or to abstract and to remove, right? So the S&P has the ability to add stocks, and they have the ability to take stocks off. So how the fuck do you know that they're not fucking with the economic stimulator as the S&P to make you feel that the fucking economy is recovering? Check the dollar. You guys have to wake up, man. The next 5 to 10 years are going to be very, very tough. And I had set a poll. I set a poll on one of my social platforms, and I put up all the different ancient empires that had their lasting years, right? Between the classic Greek, the Byzantine Romans, the West Romans, and ancient Egypt. And I put them all in chronological order in order for people to vote to see how will the U.S. be able to supersede these time frames from long ago. But if you notice, we're struggling right now, and the U.S. has only been operating as a civilized society for 250 years. 250 years. The West Romans, 500 years. The classic Greek, 1,100 or 1,250 years. And the Byzantine Roman, I believe that's 375 years. And don't even let me get started with ancient Egypt, because we're not touching ancient Egypt, because we don't have what they had in order to last for 3,000 years of the strongest empire and civilization that you've ever seen and heard of. We don't have balance, divinity, love. We don't have none of that in this society. And that's why we're struggling so bad at 250 years and counting. So you guys understand what I'm telling you. I'm not just blowing smoke, man. I take these things and I compare them to shit that's already happened with other civilizations. We're behind. We're fucked up when it comes to the economic system. Next 5 to 10 years will be very hard. So thanks for checking out this video. Like and subscribe if this made sense to you. And remember, the truth's in session. Peace.